All right, Mr. Zach, what's up, dude? How are you?
I am doing fantastic, sir. How are you?
I'm very good,
Th-
very good. So,
That
guys,
was
again,
quite the intro, I have to say. Thank you.
well deserved, right? Well deserved. You've helped. I mean, how long? So, you guys may know, like Zach works at TCM Security, but he's also a YouTube content creator. How long have you been a YouTube content creator, Zach?
Oh, 8 years now. I'll be going nine. I guess it'll be 9 years.
Yeah,
So
so 9 years, long
yeah,
time in YouTube years, mind you. And
yeah.
like you're going to help a lot of people today, I know, but like ballpark figure, how many people do you think you have helped in some capacity since, in the last 9 years?
I mean, if you look at I guess if you take a look at the numbers, right? Like the amount of
Hmm.
views the channel's gotten, it's like 17 million or so. So I would just say that I've probably helped like a million people. I'll just take it like at that, right? Like I would assume that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, no, dude, a million people. That's what I'm saying. So, like, I pause chat just to say that intro, Zach, is completely earned, completely well deserved, and completely appropriate. But let's talk about helping some people today. So, TCM Security Career Services, like what is that? And I actually can bring up the website on stream too as well if it makes sense. So just let me know. But what is this new service that you guys launched here?
Yeah, so it's their practical career ready professional program.
Hmm.
It's something that Heath and I developed. It's something that really we've seen the need for because just us being, I guess, who we have been for the past few years. Just
Hmm.
me being on YouTube that amount of time, hearing from people are have been or have even gotten into the industry, the hurdles that they've had, the challenges that they face. And there isn't, or there's not really a lot of resources out there that kind of focus on the practical skills and the practical knowledge and things that you need to know to be successful or to gain that success into getting into this field. It's not always just about those technical skills. So with this course, we kind of deliver a lot of those practical soft skills. We go and dive into your resume. So just to like dive through it real quick here,
Is it
we
on the?
go.
It's on the main page here.
I can link you to it, sir.
Oh wow, the definitive GRC analyst masterclass. That jumped up
That's a
there.
good course, right?
Yeah, send me
I
a
hear a lot of people enjoy that course though.
yeah. Send me a link to it. I want to bring it up as a
Uh,
visual.
I put it in the YouTube chat for you.
Oh, okay, cool. Yep. All right, so please continue.
Sure. I'll just read through it too because it's easier for me. But to like the first of all, you have to go through our PMPT certification in order to get this, to go through our career ready professional program. So just to kind of like discuss that, right? The PMPT, that's our practical network. I can't even talk right now. I'm sorry. Practical network. We're not going to go. We'll just do
The practical network penetration tester. That
yeah,
one.
there you go. It's been a long day.
Yeah, I
I
know,
told
man.
you before. The kids are home and I hear them like pounding upstairs, so it's distracting me.
It's real life, man.
It
Real
is
life.
real life, right? Those are the challenges you face when you work from home. But anyway, you have to go through our PMPT certification. If you're not familiar with that, it's a certification focused on ethical hacking. So very similar to some of the industry certifications that are out there, CEH, OSCP, except ours is more focused on those practical, real world skills, knowledge that you're going to face working in a real penetration tester role. So with that certification, you go to actually pass the certification. You have 5 days to complete the exam, which is essentially hacking into our network. And once you hack into our network, you have to write a report. You have 2 days to write a report and basically explain this is what you did to get into our network, and everything that you would find in providing a report, like you would see in a real world, penetration test engagement, right?
Mhm.
Once you write the report, submit the report, then you schedule a debrief. And then you debrief a member of our team and you walk us through what you did to, again, break into our network. So we're, again, at that point, we're also kind of assessing, those skills that you have to kind of explain the process that you went through. Can you break down that process to somebody? So that entire exam again focuses on making it as real life as we possibly can, right? Like this is kind of really what you would expect going through a real life pen test engagement, and we have a lot of great feedback from that, a lot of success from that as well. So a lot of people that have really been happy with that, and we love seeing that, of course. So expanding onto that is this practical career ready professional program, and making sure that that people have the soft skills, and the interview skills, the resume to help them really kind of stand out. So we talk about even like your personal branding skills and things that you can do to really make sure that you get noticed, to make sure that you're gonna find more success in this field. And this is again just stuff that Heath and I have put together over the years that we've between the two of us, I'm sure we've helped millions of people through the advice that we've given, and through the networks that we've built, the communities that we've built, and just working with people all over the world, and just hearing this feedback and working with these people to find the best tools and resources that we can to make sure that they're gonna be successful, right? And that's, I think, when you go back to the root of things, kind of with like the intro that you gave, Heath and I both very much share a lot of the same values, and wanting to help people. That's really kind of where IT career questions, my YouTube channel, that's where it all kind of stems from. That's where the Cyber Mentor stems from, is just wanting to really help people and make an impact. And we're trying to make that as affordable as possible. One thing I have to give Heath so much credit for is we employ 14 15 people now at this point, and he takes care of us really, really well. And I'm very thankful and blessed to be working here, and to be able to make the impact, and help make it such an impact to the community that we work with, and that we reach. So yeah, again, like this program that we're offering is just how can we really work with the community, work with somebody individually, to really give them a guideline to more success, right? Like let's work with that individual and really kind of round them out in understanding and knowing what the real world expects of you, because there's a lot of certifications out there that don't focus so much on the real world aspect, right? It's all, at the end of the day, it's going to be multiple choice. You're defining your skills by a multiple choice exam. That's can be questionable at times, right? You're going through like some type of capture the flag type of exam, right? Great skills to have, there's great knowledge to have. I'm not discrediting any of that by any means, but we're more focusing on, this is what the real world expects of you, and this is that knowledge that's really going to help you be successful. And that's even not to completely knock on college, but college lacks in that as well. And now we're working with colleges currently. A lot of we've built some relationships with quite a few colleges, and we'll be announcing some information there soon that I'll be really excited about. But they have expressed to us the lack of practical skills that students are getting and receiving. So they're, even colleges are addressing that and understanding that, some of the training and material that's out there isn't really focusing so much on what the real world expects of somebody, to be successful in, the IT industry. So I'm sorry, I'm just like running on and on here, Jerry.
No, it's all good information. I was actually just thinking like, oh, look at me, I'm a real host now. I'm a real boy now. My guests are talking. No. I definitely think it's good. Well, two things. Well, one thing I'll state, and then the second thing I'll ask you. And I see some questions in chat. Definitely drop those questions, Chris. I see your question. I'll get it into Zach's eyes in a second. So right now there's certifications. There are, practical experience, and then there's higher ed. And those are kind of the three-legged stools that you can do to define yourself as a candidate and ultimately, make yourself the hired candidate, if you will. And I would argue, and I'll fight anyone who thinks differently, that practical experience right now reigns supreme, right? So college degree certifications, yes, they can get you through certain roadblocks or gates. And yes, they do deliver some educational value. They're not just like, a pay to play kind of things. But experience is the most practical one. Now, what I want to point out is, yes, if you do, a lot of CTFs or you do a lot of home labs and stuff like that, that is practical experience that you can demonstrate, but you don't have the context on how those skills map into the actual profession, right? So it's like, reading a cookbook and like making a bunch of different dishes. Like, you're not qualified to open a restaurant, with all due respect, because you don't understand how the restaurant business works. You do know how to cook, and that's great, but that's not how it works. So what I want to ask you, Zach, is like, was this in response to what you were seeing from the PNPT graduates? Like, oh, hey, like I got the PNPT and I'm still struggling to get a job, or was it a macro level industry thing that you guys observed? Like what was the driver for this?
It's the industry as a whole, and so I think Heath had even like outlined it in the post that he like tagged on LinkedIn, where he kind of he thanked me, for the course and everything. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, I saw a very nice post about how he felt about you. I didn't know that it had to do with the course. It was much more. It seemed personal.
Yeah, dude. That was huge too. Like, you don't see that also, and I want to highlight that, because you don't see a lot of managers, bosses who do something like that. I don't want to bring like attention to that. I really just want to bring attention to the fact that, like, man, that's something that like I really respect out of my boss, right? Like, it's just crazy, but anyway, now I kind of went.
I was asking you, what was the market drive to do this? Like, was it in response to something you observed?
Yeah, just like as a whole, man, for a long time we've seen like kind of that a lot of people have struggled with like what to do next. And it's not just with the PMPT, right? It's just with any certification that you go through. Like, okay, cool, I got the certification, but like, what's next? Or now that I have the certification, what are the next steps that I need to take? There's a lot of challenge that people have, even just trying to level up their career, to go from a help desk position into something like a penetration tester, right? Like, how do they make those hurdles, and what's the best way to get there? Which, as we all know, like, there's many different ways to get there, Yep. But here's like some ways that can really help you be more successful in any route that you take, right? But yeah, it just as a whole, it's career changers, what do they need to do, or what steps do they need to take, and how is that going to be any different, if they're looking to transition from being an accountant to wanting to be a penetration tester, right? Like,
yeah, I definitely appreciate the shout out. If you're not familiar, Simply Cyber, this channel has a collection of videos on how to pivot from certain roles to cybersecurity, which I want to just digress for a second, Zach, and hang with you. From a YouTube algorithm, right, guys? Like, everybody in chat right now, you hear about like hit the bell for notifications. Like, it's all about the YouTube algorithm, hacking it and stuff like that. Dude, making like accountant to cyber or mechanic to cyber is like the opposite of YouTube algorithm hacking. It's so niche, but to me, it's so important to serve those individuals and those people and know that there is a path in there. So I appreciate that you're calling out not just get the PNPT and now what, or career growth within IT, but really those individuals that are pivoting, because there are so many of them.
There is, yeah. And they're, finding a lot of challenge, because for any reason whatsoever, right? They could be just tired of, what they're doing currently. Like crunching numbers all day, and they're just, they know they already have skills, they already have knowledge, and they're already making a set amount of money that they really need to stick to or abide by. So what do they need to do to really kind of take advantage of those skills that they do have to make that best effort and to be, getting that position that's going to help provide for them, right? And you know, you can keep that set salary. And I say that because like Joe Helly is like a perfect example of this, because you know, here's a guy who he was just trying to get into IT. And he had a really advanced skill set, even though he had never worked in IT. Like, he's just a really smart guy, and he had a lot of really interesting past experience. He was legitimately a mayor, right? So like, I could imagine, you know, if people like look this guy up, or you know, like, why is a mayor applying for a help desk job or whatever, right? That could have been really challenging for him, and it was. So you know, he was even trying to find like SOC analyst positions, and that was like a challenge for him. And but he ultimately knew like he was really interested in penetration testing, and that's like the route that he took, and he really pushed for it. Then the first job that he ever got working in IT was as a penetration tester. So like, it just, you know, it just goes to show, like, you know, everybody's path is completely different when it comes to getting into this field. And a lot of what Joe did is, you know, a lot of the material that like Heath and I have shared, you know. So it's just like the route that he took to take advantage of like his skill set and to get himself out there, you know, like it's just like we've just I guess we've taken all of our experiences, and that's what we've kind of put on the website, even like our entire team. Like, we've taken all of our experience and what we've done to get into this field, and the things that we've seen, and all the different ways people have found success working in, or you know, just venturing into this field. And I put together, you know, the best, in my opinion, you know, like knowledge and advice that we could really to help these people, you know. So outside of just like the course material that we're providing, and teaching people a lot of this information, once you pass your PMPT, you schedule a one-on-one with us, and we sit down with you, go through a one-on-one coaching call, discuss like, you know, what you're looking to do. We'll go through a lot of, you know, list of questions with you, and course questions that people would have for us. Go through that, and then they go through their course material. They do, sorry, I'm reading just so I'm on point here. They submit a resume for us to review. So we'll go through that, review it, you know, give critiques. We also have course material ahead of time that really kind of, like, Heath did a fantastic job of course breaking down the resumes and really walking people through that. So there's that, and then you submit your resume, we review it, and then you make modifications. Once you make those modifications and you've gone through all the course material, then you submit that resume to a fictitious company that we created, and you submit you basically apply for a job at this fictitious company. And you're going through a mock job application experience, and then we put you through a mock interview. So you'll sit down with us, with our team, and we'll do a mock interview with you. And, you know, once that's completed, we go through and you know, digest that and give feedback based on how that went. So it's really trying to, again, provide that whole practical experience from start to finish, right? So from the PMPT to experiencing that entire exam, which is something, again, that really kind of mimics a real world penetration test engagement. You know, from start to finish, you do that. And then from start to finish with our career services program, you know, we work with you there so that you have those technical or those soft skills and, you know, personal branding skills, and have that resume that's going to, you know, pop and stand out. And I'm excited for it. I'm really proud of it. I put my heart and soul into it. And if you go to that post that Heath made on LinkedIn, it really kind of like highlights that. And like, that honestly brought like a tear to my eye, because like I put so much heart and dedication into this, because, you know, throughout the last 8 years, in having, you know, millions of views on YouTube, millions of I don't know if it's probably not millions of comments at this point, but 100,000s of comments, right? You know, hearing from people and the challenges, and you know, this is something that, I don't know, I'm very passionate about, because I want to help people. I want to see people succeed. And yeah, if at the end of the day, the price point, it's still cheaper than the other industry certifications that you would get out there. And no other certification is doing what we're doing. So even if you compare it to, I won't name drop just because I don't want to be that guy, but, you know, compare it to some of those top leading ethical hacking, penetration testing certifications, we're still at a cheaper point, you know, at $9.99 for our PMPT plus, you know, the practical career ready professional career services. So I'm really stoked for it. I know there's a ton of value there. I'm excited.
Yeah, I can tell, and that you have every reason to be. Let's jump into the chat. I do want to say hi to a couple people. What's up, David Meese, Kevin Apollinario, Kev Tech, great people, regular, Shane Himes, William Welch, Carrie. Some new people I don't recognize, Sally, Justin. Well, I recognize Justin Gold, obviously, but I want to call out Jan DeVries. Listen to this one. He was told at his interview if he gets the PMPT, they'll put him immediately in a junior role. Guy's busting his hump, studying like mad to get that PNPT because he's been guaranteed the position. That's how solid PNPT is, that the employers know this.
Yeah, we're on McDonald's now. Like that's huge. I mean, that for like, I don't know. Heath was pretty excited about it. I think he kind of like mentioned it, you know, but I was really excited to see that. I was like, wow, McDonald's has this on their job postings. Like,
that's right. It's legit. I mean, it's been legit, but it's getting more market share. And I just want to tell Jan DeVries, best luck and best wishes on that PNPT. Yeah, all the materials are there, man. All you got to do is the time, right? Just the time and the commitment. That's the hard thing.
That's the thing too. Sorry, like, you know, for the price of it, right? If with the training, you know, the $399, you get the 5 courses. In those 5 courses that we provide for you, that literally contains all of the material, all the knowledge that you need to pass the PMPT. It's all right there, ready for you. Like,
yeah, it is. It's really it's now on you, right? At the end of the day, it's on you. And there's no. By the way, I always tell people this too, Zach. There's no easy button in cyber. Right? There's no easy button. You have to put the work in. And spoiler, when you get into cyber, you continue to work. Like, you continue to have to stay up to date and refine your skills and everything like that. Let's get into the chat because so many people have great questions, and I wanna make sure we get to them really quick. Shout out to Tom Pike. That man.
Hey, Tom.
I love me some Tom Pike. I haven't seen him in a minute. All right, so let's get into the chat. Some are very tactical questions. Some are larger. Chris Pugh wants to know if you bomb the presentation. So you pass the technical part of the PMPT, but you just suck at talking, or you clam up, or you like whatever. Do they let you do it again? Like what happens in that situation?
Yeah. I mean, we'll definitely go through and discuss, like, you know, any issues or, you know, questions that we saw, or, you know, give that feedback. But absolutely, like, if we want to go through and we feel like, you know, a person absolutely needs that second approach, we'll definitely do that with them. You know, I will, of course, definitely take that time to make sure that person, you know, finds, you know, more success the next time around. You know, and that's something that we're big on.
And another thing that I want to point out, I'm sure Zach would mention it, is that one thing that's really unique about TCM Security's PNPT is if you fail it, you get to take it again for free, because they see it as a failure of them, not as equipping you to do it on your first try. So, you know, that's just another like indicator of how great y'all are. All right, continuing down the list here, Nick Barker wants to know, you had mentioned PNPT with the PCRP as kind of a package. If you got the PNPT already, is this still available to you? Maybe you're having some challenges getting a job.
Yeah, so until the end of February, we're running like a promo. It's not a promo, but it's like, if you want to upgrade to the PCRP, we'll email you back a coupon, so you wouldn't have to pay the full price of the entire program. It'll just be like, if you have your PMPT, so you just paid for the voucher, then it takes, you know, X dollars amount off. I'm not going to try to say exactly what it is because I can't remember off the top of my head. He'll hate me for that. Yeah.
David Meese, good old David Meese. David, I hope you're feeling great, completely recovered. How important is customer service skills in cyber? KevTech talks about this quite often and stresses it for IT and cyber. What are your thoughts on soft skills, or customer service skills? Excuse me.
They're the most important like one of the most important aspects to IT. Like IT at the end of the day is customer service. Like, and if you, I think a lot of people don't like to hear that, but at the end of the day, like whatever you are doing in information technology, right? Like touching piece of technology, like ultimately, I feel like that is customer service driven because you're delivering something that is affecting somebody else at the end of the day, right? And a lot of times working in IT, you have to work with an end user, right? Or you're working with your managers, even you're working with your coworkers. Those customer service skills, those soft skills are always going to come in handy. Like those type, like having those skills and learning more about those skills, like that's what can definitely help you excel. I think much quicker in this field, and that's, I don't mean that to like, you know, come down on anybody or anything like that, right? Because like I'm a total introvert, right? And it took a lot for me to learn the soft skills that I've learned to be successful, and to put myself out there. And like I go through a lot of that in the course, even like a lot. So a lot of what I kind of teach also is just like based on like what I learned being an introvert, right? Because like a lot of us that like technology are nerds and we're introverts, right? So definitely kind of unlock that, like talk about that as well. But yeah, customer service, I think that's any type of skill like and focus around that, I think is invaluable when it comes to IT and cybersecurity. Anything again that's focused in technology. You're always
agree 100%. Yeah. And I would also say, empathy. It boils down to empathy. Understand the customer. Like if they're having a rough time, bad day or whatever, and they're frustrated with their tech, they're not pissed at you. They're pissed at the situation.
I go into empathy real good because that I think is that is a pro level skill and knowledge, whatever you want to call it, skill set that to have, or what, like knowing and understanding how to utilize empathy.
Yeah. Well, to me, empathy is like, God tier emotional maturity. Carrie asks, what I was told that if you obtain the A+, that would be a game changer. I haven't been able to use it. Just wondering what advice I can do to use it to get a job.
Yeah, for the A+, I mean, for when you're looking at entry level work, a lot of IT jobs when it comes to help desk or some analyst types of roles or technicians type of roles and things like that, they are going to see a lot of value in the A+. Whether they specifically list that certification like on the resume or not, that's just it's a industry known certification. So again, whether it's on the resume or not, everybody knows CompTIA, everybody knows the A+, and everybody knows the information that's covered on the A+. There's a lot of knowledge to learn, to gain there. Honestly, there's a lot of knowledge that's not needed also, honestly, but there's really quite a bit of knowledge there. So just having that certification will stick out to people. It will stand out to the right people, even, I've always been a fan of the A+. It's one of those things, I guess.
Love it. Agios says he got he got their PNBT last year. How would the PCRP help someone from LATAM? I'm not sure what LATAM is. Could it help get a new job from U.S. companies? So let me rephrase this question, Zach, because there's been a couple people in chat, InfoSec Kid and a couple others, that are wondering how does the practical career ready professional service education, one-on-one, all that, how does it work for international people? Is this more of a U.S. focused program or is it international?
So, I mean, just with Heath and I, being and our company being in the U.S., it's more, U.S. focused, if you will. But at the end of the day, the information and the knowledge that we're sharing within it can be applied everywhere, right? There's obviously things that I maybe covered or, discussed that could be more U.S. focused, but at the end of the day, we're talking about practical skills. We're talking about, practical soft skills and, resume tips, tricks, advice, reviewing your resume, going through that mock interview with somebody, making them go through like that job application process. So there's a lot of knowledge just to be learned there, in general. So I guess, I wouldn't say it's specifically U.S. focused. It's really anybody who's just trying to I guess level up their career, take their career to that next level, and get some of that knowledge that's discussed in there that they may not have, or they may lack some.
Yeah, there's a lot of transferable knowledge,
For sure.
market independent. And also I've been informed, thank you very much, Riley, LATAM is Latin America. So I'll add that into my acronym book. KevTech support says people sleep on soft skills. Being able, actually, this really hits the nail on the head. Being able to explain something technical in a non-technical way, and I'm sure Kevin would agree, like at a kind of 5-year-old level or a 3rd grade level, is really important, especially when you're trying to influence whoever you're speaking to on something.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I don't know what else to say other than I just agree with that 100%. Yeah. And hello, Kevin. It's good to see you, sir.
Just the 100 emoji pops up.
Yeah. Basically. Yeah. I pretty much agree with everything Kevin says. Kevin does amazing work for the community. And so I have to give a huge shout out to him, because he's doing a lot of really good things for people who are trying to get into IT as well. So
I agree 100%. I agree 100%. I've got the soundboard up. I was actually looking at the soundboard to see if there might be a KevTech sounder that might make sense. I don't see one really at the moment. Sorry, Kev, but we'll work on that. Shane asks, is it only for individuals interested in offensive operations? Like, could blue teams that want to expand their skills get value out of it? I'm assuming that Shane is talking about the PNPT, or the education that underpins the PNPT.
So right now, to go through the PCRP, the Practical Career Ready Professional Program, you have to go through our PMPT certification. So that's not to say that our red team, quote unquote, kind of learning material can't be helpful for somebody who's looking to be on the blue team. I wouldn't say that we're focused on blue team, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense, especially, and being practical, right? Like Heath, TCM Security, yes, they have training and everything, but they are a pen testing company also. So that's the wheelhouse. So when they're giving this expert advice and doing the interviews and the technical, the tech interviews and stuff like that, I'm sure it's focused on OffSec, because that's what they do. So, I think I would say, Shane, just based on my experience and knowledge, a blue operator could get value out of the education and training, but maybe not so much the PNPT as a cert, or the professional career ready professional cert either.
Sorry, mouthful.
Yeah, it really is. It really is.
That's why we use acronyms in IT. Yay!
I know, but there is the questions are coming in hot and heavy really quick here. So we're going to kind of run through these. InfoSec Kid, we already answered your question about the international piece. William Welch with the DoD 8570 question coming in hot. I'm sure there's no red tape and bureaucracy in the way of getting on that matrix. Is this something TCM is looking at?
Oh, 100%. For sure. We just submitted our cool application, so we're waiting. So Navy cool. So once we get that ball rolling, we'll start definitely gearing towards the 8570. Cool. But yeah, the first step is the Navy cool. So we're excited about that.
I like it.
Shout out to Michael. I don't know if Michael's here, but Michael, I'm not going to try to butcher his last name. I'm terrible with people's names.
Jeremiah comes in with kind of a question that I feel like harkens to IT career questions. Any good advice for breaking into cyber without an employment history for entry-level work? So any advice on breaking into entry-level?
Into entry-level cyber work?
Yeah, I can answer it if you want, but you're the guest.
Yeah, no, gosh, it's like one of those questions that it's like, I could sit here all day and talk about too, I have I like to break these things down. So
yeah, well, and I have dozens and dozens of hours of video on Simply Cyber answering this question because Jeremiah, the question is, what job do you want in cyber? Because the path is different for red or blue or GRC, which I'm beginning to call GRC gray. I'm gonna push for that to be the color.
That's fine.
So
no, and that's my first questions too. Is well, what part of cyber, what interests you? Because that's a huge part of it. That's the thing that's I think the industry does a really bad job of marketing, cyber, like making cyber so hot and sexy and all this money in cyber and all this stuff, right? And then you see like these crazy cyber Super Bowl commercials, right? Which, okay, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
We won't go there, right?
Yeah.
But they make it look flashy and all this stuff, right? But what is cyber, right? And like people like coming into this, like they have to really kind of break that down. What is cybersecurity to you? Like what does that look like to you at a fundamental level, right? Start there, because once you start to like, dive in and like kind of like break down what like cybersecurity is like fundamentally, you'll start to see some of the different aspects of cybersecurity. So you could say like red team, blue team, purple team, gray team, right? Like there's all these different aspects. There's all these different like wheels and moving parts within cybersecurity itself. So there's not just like one cybersecurity role, right? Like that's not like a thing. So it's just like, okay, like what's that role that really interests you? What does that look like? And then once you kind of dive in, figure out like what those technologies are that you're interested in, how that aligns with like a role that you could be interested in, start looking out on YouTube, like day in the life of this specific cybersecurity role, see what people do for it. Is that enjoyable to you? Does that look like fun? Like that's kind of how I guess I would start with it. That's kind of how I break it down for people often. But it's just such a hard, like, again, I could sit here for a long time and have a conversation with somebody to really kind of dive into that. Just
get involved with the community, Jeremiah, and it'll start. You said red or blue; those are both great areas. Dig in. Just want to say a special shout out to Kathy Chambers, dear friend of Zach and I's. So good to see you, Kathy. Thanks for joining the stream today.
Can we just shout out IT Pro TV, right?
Yeah.
Or IT Pro by ACI Learning, mouthful. But I love them, honestly. And Heath knows too, because like Heath's talked about them on his stuff. IT Pro is a fantastic resource. Like
it certainly is. I actually
the resources available to people nowadays to like learn, so a lot of the skills and knowledge that it takes to be successful, like they're so readily available to you and like at your fingertips. And I will always say, and they're not obviously like, I hope you use your coupon code or whatever, right? But like,
yeah, I'm gonna drop it in chat.
They do a fantastic job of delivering really enjoyable material over there. Honestly, like,
all right,
I won't make this all about them. So I love you, Kathy.
We do love Kathy, and I just dropped a LinkedIn chat that goes to Simply Cyber's landing page where you can get 30% off with the code SimplyCyber30 very quickly. And I agree 100%. I hadn't used IT Pro coursework until maybe like the last month or two, and I'll tell you what. So I make course content, much like TCM, much less of it, and but after going through IT Pro TV's intro to pen testing course, I got a lot of like good ideas on how to make my content actually better. Like it's professional, it's professionally made, and it actually made me like I half embarrassed about my actual existing content, and then secondly inspired to make better content. So delays made. IT Pro TV is very good, or IT Pro by ACI Learning. They're going through
to be completely honest, and you can't see it with how the video is.
Here,
but
I'll give you full screen. Here you go. That's not gonna work.
Yeah, you can almost do it. Yeah, it's right there. It's like behind the chat. But this is my Security Plus certification that's expired. But anyway, if it wasn't for IT Pro, I would not have gotten that certification because they had a accelerated Security Plus course, which was like 11 hours or something. That was like the best 11 hours of my life. And that's serious because I failed my Security Plus the first time around. And it wasn't until like watching that course, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to go in and crush this thing. And then I did. And if
love
it wasn't for them, that's the 100% honest truth.
Yeah, of course it is. We didn't even know Kathy was going to show up today. Yeah. So cool. All right, so let's keep ripping through these things. So Gregory Jones asked about the ISC squared CC certification. Eric Silberman answered that question accurately and well. Thank you, Eric, for that. LinkedIn user drops in here and says, is Q&A support and career coaching available during the PNPT training?
Not during the PMPT training. So the practical career ready professional, that entire program does not even like unlock for you until you've completed your PMPT certification.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Next question from Michael Adams. Michael, thanks for joining the stream. Are entry-level cyber jobs more commonly blue-oriented? You can answer or you can pass.
I don't know, honestly.
So I'll answer. Yeah. So, Michael, I would argue that if you had the total population of true entry-level cyber jobs, the majority red to blue would be like 80% blue, 20% red, because there's just far fewer red jobs. In fact, like most organizations will hire people to be blue internally, or they'll be managed security providers that are like sock in a box for everybody. Red, it's either a company like TCM Security where they get contracted out, or if you work in financial services, you may be a dedicated red teamer, or if you go work at a threat analysis group like Google or something like that, where you're breaking stuff on purpose, or Netflix, like these Fortune 10 companies. Blue is you're going to find far more, and I would also say gray, right? Like I'm gonna hashtag GRC is the gray team. Okay,
You got it.
Like you'll find like generic security analyst roles, and basically that's like they're hiring one person and they're going to do policy awareness training, watch SIMs, install MDM. It's kind of like a small business and IT person. You're going to have to do it all. Next question comes from Mario. If you attended a cyber boot camp, would you still recommend the educational program? Okay, so I get the question. Go ahead. Yep.
Well, I don't know what the boot camp really covers, so it's hard to say.
Yeah.
I don't know what anybody would have gotten out of that program, because every single boot camp is different. But I still, even though you've gone through a cyber boot camp, if you haven't gone through, the PMPT, I recommend that for, anybody who's looking to become a penetration tester, looking to get in, ethical hacking, be a red teamer, right? Like that, I think is like the go-to certification for sure. To go through learning path, even.
Yeah. I agree 100%. Boot camps, they're wildly inconsistent with quality, so it's tough to say. But I would say, based on the price point and the quality of the education, I've taken the OSINT and the PEH. I have not taken Windows Privesk or Linux Privesk, and I have no interest, honestly, in the fifth one, which is really geared for if you want to be an actual pen tester. And the two courses I took are fantastic, and I'm not even a professional pen tester, right? Like I'm a suit at this point, so I got value out of it. Let's talk about mailmans. Let's go, Nick, dropping bombs here. As a mailman, what can he put down on his resume for a SOC analyst that shows he's got skills?
I'm sure you have people skills, even as a mail person, right? Like. I'm sure you interact with people that you're delivering mail with, right? Like, I think that's a great skill to highlight there. But I don't know, I guess what else consists of what a mail person does, do they always just are they only delivering mail all the time? Do they do sorting and stuff like that? Do they do any type of have to go back at the end of the day and go to a computer to put in any information and things like that? Somebody highlighted organizational skills, which was that's what my next go-to was going to be.
Working under pressure,
huge. Yeah,
right? Holiday
sure.
time, working under pressure.
I think there's there's a lot that I think that can be unlocked there. I just would have to really kind of know and understand what is involved in a mail person's day-to-day life, which I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I come from a long line of mail people. I do.
Oh, really?
I really do. Yeah. Literally every single person in my family except me worked and retired from the post office or worked for the post office at some point. I moved away from everybody. I'm kind of the unusual one in my family. I also didn't work in the mail, but all the things you said are totally true. Just want to give a little a sneak preview of Tidbits Tuesday to the audience, but obviously, Nick, you're going to want to also do some SOC analyst skill work, some training, hands-on stuff like that.
Black Hills InfoSec has a great SOC analyst course.
Yes, they do. Pay what you can. John Strand, actually, I'll pull that up while you're talking about this. Yassine wants to know, will PNPT be popular in a few years?
Yeah, I think we gain popularity every month. We're seeing different jobs listing our certification. You know, it's the numbers might not be up there comparable to some of the others out there, but we're growing and it's becoming more and more consistent. And that's exactly what we want to see. You know, the industry is starting to recognize it. They're starting to see it and understand the value that it provides. And as I kind of mentioned earlier, you know, just seeing the McDonald's, you know, have the PMPT certification listed as, you know, something that they're looking for in one of their candidates. Like, you know, that's, you know, I just, that's big, you know. I just think it's so cool. I don't know. It's McDonald's, you know, and everybody's like, why? What is like who's like, is McDonald's like penetration like testing like their competitors or something, right? I don't know.
No, but I mean, as a company that has billions in dollars of revenue, I would assume that they would be interesting to a threat actor. So really quick, Zach mentioned Black Hills, which is anti-siphon training, is the training arm underneath Black Hills. There's SOC core skills with John Strand. John Strand is an absolute legend in our industry. Wonderful guy. He gives. If you're interested, this is John right here. The next one is March 27th through the 30th. Okay. Check that out. The link is in chat. Also, if you fancy it, I literally had John Strand on stream.
Legend.
Yeah, dude, I had him on before I had quality AV equipment to talk about this course. So like, if you're interested in knowing about this course, there's a YouTube, there's always a Simply Cyber video typically on whatever it is the question is you have. So let's see, let's keep on rolling. Unless you saw one that jumped out.
No, I was just laughing at Tom's comment.
Tom Pike?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, male model John Strand. Yeah. Dude, real quick fun. This is a bit of a deep cut, but I'll try to make it as funny for everybody as possible. At Wild West Hackin' Fest this year, John Hammond gave the final keynote speech, or the wrap up speech at the end, and his intro to the speech was about how John approached him, and in the slides he had male model John Strand talking to John Hammond from Jurassic Park, and like that's what the talk was going on in the slide. It was quite hilarious. I loved it.
That was such an interesting experience.
Wild West Hackin' Fest.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was life altering for me for sure.
That's where I met you in person, Zach.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Yep. I've already booked my ticket for Deadwood this year. I'm speaking. I'm all locked in for it.
We will be there.
Oh, all right. That's cool.
We will be there.
Nice. I'll be vlogging. I'll be vlogging.
That's awesome. I'm excited.
Joking.
We'll have more news soon.
Oh. Okay.
I'm excited. Super excited.
All right. I like that.
You remember what happened before John spoke? Hammond spoke? When Strand called us all out.
Oh yeah. Yes, exactly. That was a good one.
Yeah.
Do you have a photo from that available?
Not offhand, probably, but.
Oh, okay. All right.
I might actually have a real photo offhand.
Yeah, this is kind of cool. I'll here if you got it.
I feel bad for. We all felt bad for John Hammond, and we had no idea that. Like, we literally came to and I had the idea, like, hey, can we get. Since our entire team was going to be there, and we all love John Hammond. Like, who doesn't love John Hammond?
Who doesn't love John Hammond? Yes.
Nicest guy in the entire world, smartest guy probably in the entire world,
and a voice for radio too.
Oh
right?
My god, 100%.
Yeah,
love him. So I was like, can we get T-shirts made with his face on it, and it says the GOAT, because we just wanted to support him. We just wanted to be like, hey, we love you, man, and that's all it was. And then, I
see it while you're looking for that. I see Kathy Chambers will be there. Nick Barker will be there.
Focus, right?
Yeah, you could see. Yeah, so I'll just describe it. The whole team was up there, and they basically had a shirt that had John Hammond's face, and underneath it just said GOAT in large letters. And you could see in the picture, John Strand had asked TCM Security, the company, to all stand up. And in front of the entire conference, John Strand used it as an opportunity to point out how supportive and how connected the members of our cybersecurity community are. And when you hear the phrase that the community is small, it's not that big, this is what we're referring to. Like, it's a small community, and it's a community that cares about each other too, which I totally love.
Yeah, that again we felt bad for John because like we didn't want to like we weren't trying to steal his thunder or anything like that. It was like literally just like we wanted we wanted John Hammond to know that we supported him, right, and that we love him, right? Like he's just great. He's a great person. So we felt bad that like John Strand like called us out and did that, but at the same time like I went back to our like Airbnb or whatever, and like I like checked out for the entire night because like emotionally that was like one of the biggest kind of like gratifiers I think like to ever like receive, you know, like from like John Strand, who's been in this industry forever, who's just an absolute legend, for him to acknowledge the work that, you know, Heath and we have done, you know, the TCM has done. Man, that was just huge. Like that was huge. And meant so much to all of us, for sure. It meant a lot to me, especially because, you know, I put a lot of my passion and effort into everything that I do for TCM. You know, it's not just like, you know, everybody like is always like wants to be working with Heath and thinks it's like, you know, like the greatest thing in the world, right? You know, and it is, right? But like we're helping people, like we're making an impact in people's lives and helping them, you know, do better, become better. And you know, the value and just the feeling that you get from that, you just, I don't know, you can't ever replace that. Could never put like a weight on that, because that means everything to me. It literally, that's what drives me every single day. Like I want to help people. I want people to be more successful, and I will do whatever it takes to make that happen. So, you know, Heath giving me the opportunity and him like acknowledging that post, like, hey, like when I came to TCM a year and a half ago, I told him this is what I wanted to do. You know, like the job that he wanted me to do was first like just to do social media. And when I saw that job posting, I was like, dude, I could do your social media. That's whatever. But like, let me come here and do something impactful. Like, let us do something that's really going to make a difference. This is the first thing that you know, so far we've got to do together, from my perspective, right? That's building upon that. You know, so you know, when I first came to him, you know, said, do your social media, but I really want to. This is one of the things that I want to do for the community. This is something that I think is really going to make an impact, and you know that, and you see that. And you know, we finally delivered that. And yeah, I'm so excited. I'm pumped. And like I was telling you earlier, like I had to I told Heath just the other day, like how much it meant to me to be on that platform, to be part of the platform. It was like a stepping stone. It was like there's like a better word or phrase for it, you know, but just for me to be part of like the TCM Academy, it was like a huge thing for me, you know.
Absolutely.
It means a lot. It really does.
Yeah, well, and you're a genuine person, which I think why a lot of people enjoy you and appreciate you and listen to you. I mean, not only do you technically and professionally know what you're talking about, obviously, but you're empathetic, and you're a leader who serves, Zach. That's what I would call you, a leader who serves. We're getting close to the end of the stream, so I'm gonna rapid fire a couple questions. Did you have a follow up to being a leader who serves?
No, I mean, I look up to Heath too, you know. So like, I try to build upon what he does too, you know. I think he's an amazing person to look up to. So him and I like, I don't know. At the end of the day, like I'm just so thankful to be working with that guy. You know, he shares like everything, all the values that I have, you know, like that drive and that want to help people. Like he shares that 100%. And not a lot of people see that. They instead see like some flashy car and think whatever. But
hashtag Lambo.
Yeah, Lambo Gate. I think somebody referred to it.
Lambo Gate. Yeah. Hashtag Countach.
Yeah, he's the most genuine person I've ever met in my entire life, and he would give the shirt off of his back in a heartbeat for any one of his employees. You know, that the Lambo would be gone in a second if like, you know, there was a problem, right, or whatever. Like that's the type of person like Heath is. Like he cares about each and every one of us, and he does a phenomenal job of bringing us together as a team. and allowing us to, really excel at the things that we do. Every single one of us, I love our team. I'm so thankful for it. So sorry.
I love it. No, you're all good. I do want to take a quick second. This is a harken back to the post office stuff, but I do want to say hi to April, because I might be mistaken, but I'm like 99% sure. April just recently came out of the shadows. So Zach, on the Simply Cyber Daily Cyber Threat Briefing, we have Team Live, who are there in the moment, and then Team Replay. And recently, somebody, I say, call yourself out, hashtag Team Live. And recently someone contacted me privately and said, hey, I'm I said, and if you're lurking, say hashtag lurker, and which would obviously make them not be lurking. And someone came out to me and said, hey, can we be hashtag passive observer? Like, it's not that I'm a lurky creep person. It's just that I'm nervous to say anything. So we started doing hashtag passive observer. And if I'm not mistaken, April started coming out of the shadows as a hashtag passive observer. And I appreciate all the people who have done that. So I just want to say hi to April and genuinely appreciate it. Zach, you got time for a couple more questions?
I have all the time in the world for you, sir. I love coming on and talking with you, man. I just love talking with you.
I know. I do appreciate it. Zach and I have a lot of fun conversations, like off camera too. It really is a good time.
Yeah, you called me out on LinkedIn the other day, and then I had to text you. And you called me out. All right.
That's right. What's your opinion on experience if there's a break in IT work? Like you basically have a gap in your resume. Stay-at-home parent. Yeah.
I think any breaks in resumes, like people caring about that, I feel like for the majority, and for really where it matters, like the pandemic ruined that, right? Like take it, like throw it out the window, right? Like I don't think people are really looking at that as harshly, and if they are, they're looking at it, they're looking at things for the wrong reasons, right? So that should be like a red flag for you right there if they're really going to give you a hard time about a gap in your experience. I don't think that's an issue. I think you can, maybe find great ways to explain yourself, what happened or whatever, but like ultimately, like whatever, like go out and crush it. Like just, highlight what you're great at, highlight what you're good at. And I wouldn't let that bother you too much,
I've always been confused and personally irritated by people where the gap impacts your ability. My position has always been this, and I wish more people took this position, or you might be able to argue it. Like, at the end of the day, you're hiring me because you have a need at your company, and I'm going to fill that need. I'm going to make that problem my problem, not your problem. That's why you're hiring me. And I can do the work. So what do you care if I took a 2-year? What does that matter? What does that have anything to do with my ability to deliver? It doesn't.
Stupid. It's so frustrating, and I don't know.
Yeah. Sorry.
It's like borderline like offensive almost,
Yeah.
Like,
I got a sounder.
what have you been doing with your life,
I've got a sounder for that one. Yeah, just like a straight flip out on someone. I do love it. Just Joshing says, what's your opinion? Oh, I'm sorry. This was the one we just did. We had a question a little bit earlier that I didn't get a chance to. Gil just wants to know, what's the DoD 8570? Can you wrap that up in 2 sentences?
That is like basically your government Department of Defense or whatever, right? 8570 is like their classification that's used to help them like certify individuals within like government, especially so your U.S. government. I'm not going to do a great job of this because like I don't speak government.
Yeah, I mean I can explain. I've worked in federal IT and DoD, Marine Corps. The U.S. government hires so many people that they have to have standards for what a job requires. The DoD 8570 is a matrix that maps different roles like level 1, level 2, level 3. And if a position gets billeted or posted as a level 2 role, then they just say you need to have one of these certifications. It's not fair in some instances. Sometimes you can have a certification that has absolutely nothing to do with the job, but because the government is so freaking big, they had to come up with some solution that was scalable to the level of workforce that they deal with. So if you get on the 8570, people can take your cert, and because it'll help them get a job, and businesses will send people to go get training for those certs. So from a business, it's cool, and from a individual practitioner, you want to identify those certs because there's a ton of jobs in that space, whether you're a professional services working at a consulting firm like Deloitte, KPMG, whatever, or you're going to go work as a civilian in the federal government. That's it.
It's probably like the only thing that keeps CompTIA afloat at this point.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's some shade. Sorry.
No. It's all good. It's all good. Let me ask you a quick. Yeah, let me ask you a quick question, and then I'm going to put you big screen here in a second.
Oh, all right.
So David Meese asks, how important is personal branding in 2023 to help leveraging finding a job?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I love answering this question because I think it doesn't even matter like what industry you're looking at. It's not just cybersecurity specific. It's not just IT specific. It's any industry specific. You know, if you're here and you want to be an accountant, right? Like say, you know, I don't know why you would be here, but like, I still think personal branding skills are going to be valuable and important for anybody, no matter what the industry is. That's just the times that we live in now. Like that's 2023, right? Like social media and that branding aspect and all that, like networking, like as I think unfortunate as a lot of people can see that, like being such a huge prevalent part of getting into careers, advancing your careers, like it is such a valuable aspect. Now, I'm not saying like you absolutely have to have these things to find success, but you know, like building a personal brand, if you will, right? Like that's going to help you much quicker. So if you're looking at this and trying to figure out how do I do this the fastest way possible, personal brand, like that's networking, community, like that's how you do this. Like that's just what the world that we live in now. I mean, I love it or hate it. And I know a lot of people want to hate it, and I totally get that, and I totally respect that. But that's just where we're at. Like, if you don't want to take that route, that's fine. It could take you longer. It more than likely will take you longer at this point because there is so much advantage that you have nowadays through all of these different resources, through community, through networking, even that social networking aspect of it, right? Like that stuff stands out. That's so extremely important. Like I go over all that, we dive into that and all of in our stuff too. Sorry.
No. It's very valuable. It's very. I'm actually again like I'm working on like 4 courses right now, but I'm personally working on a course called branding for cyber professionals. It's mainly going to focus on like YouTube podcasts and stuff like that. But I'm making a course on how to do this exact thing because I agree with Zach. It is incredibly valuable, and it can be confusing on how to do it, right? Instead of just like throwing a bunch of stuff against the wall. Like I've been doing this for 3 years. Now, granted, my background's a little different, but like my last 3 jobs, someone called me and said like, "What will it take for you to come?" I didn't call someone and say, "I need a job, help me," right? Ahmed with a super chat. Go ahead.
No, you got the super chat.
Yeah.
What? Did we just become best friends? Yep.
Thank you so much, Ahmed, for the super chat. Getting the information is one thing. Where can we practice how to do things? What are some suggestions for people who know nothing about computers who want to get into cybersecurity? Do you want me to answer that? Or do you have thoughts?
Man, this is, again, one of those things where it's just like, we could spend all day.
Yeah,
you know? I don't mean that offensively at all. I just mean like, yeah, if you want to go ahead and quickly do it, I'm sure you probably have a quick response that you could give. But
So yes, understanding it, practical experience, hands-on stuff is very, very important to apply the theory that you learn. So suggestions for people who know nothing about computers. Ahmed, what you're going to need to do is get some fundamental IT before you get cyber, okay? It's critically important. I would recommend if you go to SANS Cyber Ace, and I'll put the link in chat, or I'll actually bring it up on chat.
But even before that, man, something like just going through like the A+, you know, not that you need to go take that material or like take that exam, but there's a lot of valuable info that you could learn from the A+, and you can watch like Professor Messer for free.
Yep.
Like, and go through those videos. That's a great starting point. And then this would be your next, like, maybe this might be more cyber focused. Since
No,
it's
no, no.
SAN.
So SAN Cyber Aces is basically designed as entry level. So they have 3 modules. One is what operating systems are and understanding them. The next one is how networking works, and the third one is sysadmin, which you can skip if you want. It's like Bash and system administration. But like these 2 are super valuable. The first 2, and to Zach's point, Professor Messer. Definitely is a good place. You basically you need to get a decent foundation of IT. You don't need to go do help desk for 3 years or something like that. You don't need to be able to you build your own PC, although that would be interesting experience. But my point is, if you're trying to secure a network and you don't know what a network is, you're not going to have a lot of success, right? Like you need to understand how it's supposed to work, so then you can see how people are able to manipulate, break, compromise, exploit. Like if you don't understand how it's supposed to work, then you can't appreciate how it gets manipulated. And then there's tons of like ranges. Like you can go to, there's a bunch. Like Try Hack Me, Hack the Box, Haiku, Range Force. Those are all like cyberranges.com. There's a bunch that you can just spin up and hit. You can also do your own Raspberry Pi labs. There's a lot of good ones.
And again, the practical ethical hacking course from TCM Security.
Yep, exactly. Yeah,
virtual labs, and get hands on that way.
Yep, this course right here is fantastic. Practical ethical hacking, and they'll actually walk you through building your own like attacker VM at the beginning, and you can see this is the syllabus, right? Installing VM, configuring it, getting Kali, and by the end of the first one, you've actually like attacked a system and done some hacking, right? And you kind of learning the fundamental stuff along the way. So a lot of great options. I would just recommend you dig in and get giddy up on it. Zach, I think I'm going to have to go pick my dogs up here in a minute. So tons of questions. I'd love to have you back on, as always. You know what I mean? Like this is a
anytime,
great...
Anytime, you know that. All you got to do is ask, sir. I will be here.
I know. It's a great
I almost couldn't, though, because we had I think like a meeting set for this time. But like Heath was like, no, you go do it. You go do your thing, man.
Well, there he is, Heath Adams. Even when he's not here, he's giving and contributing to the community. So thank you, Heath, if you're watching, for giving us Zach for this 1 hour and 10 minutes. It's been a fantastic stream. I hope we answered many of your questions. I hope you got value out of the stream. Zach, any final thoughts you want to share? I always do love giving the guest final thoughts and opportunities. Anything to share?
I don't know. I love you all.
All right.
That's I went through so much with y'all today, and I hope I provided value, and I hope that we help people. I hope we help you in some way. That's the ultimate goal. It really is.
Well, and if you're interested, Zach is on LinkedIn. I'll drop his link in here because it's not Zach Hill. It's I Am Nerdy. There we go. That's Zach's profile right there. If you're interested, please connect with Zach. The guy is just dripping value and just useful information and helpful content every single post. Dude's great. You're a treasure. You're a treasure, Zach.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. You are as well, sir.
Thank you.
I really appreciate you having me on here. It's like that's an honor for me as well, sir. I really do appreciate it. Absolutely.
Thank you. And thank you all in chat, guys. If you're interested, join us tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Eastern time. We will be, I keep saying 9. 8 a.m. Eastern time, we'll be doing the daily cyber threat briefing. And then at 9 a.m., hate less, hack more. That's right. At 9 a.m., we're actually dropping a video on how to get experience in cybersecurity without jobs. And spoiler alert, there is some reference in there to TCM Security and the courses on their platform, because they are incredibly valuable at helping you get experience without a job. That's going to do it. Whew, I need like a cigarette. Like I don't even smoke, Zach, and I feel like I need a cigarette, like a bourbon right now. Jesus. Whew.
All right.
Look at my hair slowly started getting nutty up in here. Guys, thanks all so very much. We'll have Zach on soon. My next opening's in April, so we'll get him booked up for there. Until next time, y'all, stay secure.